he said to me, and I just stared at him. He said, you just can't be complacent. You got to be way ahead. I mean, being in the industry for 36 years like I've been, if you think I haven't seen it all, you're kidding me, right? I mean, I've seen it all. I think you're going to see an explosion. I think the 5 biggest words for the next 10 years is content, predictive analytics, AI, optimization, and education. Apple, Netflix, NVIDIA, Amazon, yeah, and like this all day. I could do this. I could do this. This I love.
How much is the market changed from 36 years ago? I mean, 80% left, 60% left, 40% left. I mean, how much is retained from whatever was 30 years ago? Because I figured out, I always get this question asked by my students or by the people that I work with. They ask the question, they said, listen, you start trading in 98, you know, and I mean, how much can you use right now? And I can use right now about 95%, almost 100% what I've used before. What about you? I mean, for 36 years.
So I've seen a lot of transformation over the years. When I started when I started trading my own money, the individuals number, then I went on to trade my own money. It was fractions, and there was significant depth of the market. So markets didn't move like they do today. Up, you know, once in a blue moon, you'll see a 500
big moves, of course.
Right? Not like today. We were down 475 points, 450 points.
2.5%.
Right, and then it rallied 200 points. You never saw those type of moves back then. It was very, very rare. Up 15, down 30, up 40, and because there was too much depth of the market. Today, when decimalization came in, I knew the shift of the market, the volatility.
I started also, when I started, there was a 16th, 5/16th, quarter, 3/8, you know, 5/8, everything else.
8, 3 steens, 5 steens. I know, I could see it in the back. And then it went to decimal. So it went from fractions to 16ths to decimals. And I knew then that the markets were going to have significant volatility because of the lack of depth of the market. And so, but I think that, again, one of the greatest stories is that along the way, and I'll fast forward, and is that a good friend of mine who's no longer here taught me. He said, we were out one night, it was 1:30 in the morning, and he said, you always got to be ahead of everybody else and never be on your heels. And I listened to Jeff carefully that night, and he said to me, and I just stared at him. He said, you just can't be complacent. You got to be way ahead. And that resonated with me. And he said to me, if you ever want to trade your own money, never have a mortgage. Always own your. And I bought my own home with cash. And I said to him, I listened. I think that was some very key people. Yeah, came into my life at a very unique time. And I mean, I'm so blessed along the way to meet so many interesting people.
Obviously, you know, the specialist on the distance, they never lose money on the distance.
Well, it's, they're seeing the order flow, and
of course they see the book,
they see the
order. But for example, lots of times, especially in the bad news, right? There's somebody come from the crowd and sell a very large order. That the specialist has to fill it.
It was their obligation to create a fair and orderly
market. Yes.
And they had to facilitate any time there was an order that wasn't there. So they would price it where maybe that they felt
in the book.
And they would had
another limit orders.
They would use their own capital. So if somebody came in and said, XYZ stock, 500,000 to sell at the market, they would say, okay, make the quote, 18.5, 19, okay, 500,000 prints down a half, and they would fill all the orders, print, and maybe they would buy a few 100,000 shares, and then hopefully position out of it.
So basically the specialist, and especially in today's market, the market maker, if they have a large position, they can put a limit orders where they're not going to able to let the stock trading down because they have a large position. Is that correct?
Well, it depends. If it's the public orders, they have to yield to the public. The public gets filled first.
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking the question. Let's say, for example, there's a large order for sale, right? There's a huge order went in, and let's say it's specialist or market maker, they got it in, and they have to, because they bought it, they don't want the stock to go down, so they're going to try to protect their position.
Or they could just buy it and not reflect it, and hopefully that the position that they're buying, that's the right price too.
But a lot of times they can put a limit order and just hold the position.
Yeah, they could just
So
support
for example, sometimes, like for example, I'll rephrase the question.
Sure.
For example, you open a daily chart
Mm-hmm.
and you see, let's say, 3 bars, daily bars, hitting the one price.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's not a round number, it's unexpected number. Let's say $18.58. Low, $18.58. Low, $18.58. 3 times. What does it mean?
Well, it means that somebody's accumulating at that price.
So
and that
somebody
they don't want it to go
will-
down.
Exactly.
Right.
So it is a huge limit order, and they're just not going to break it
Or they're
because.
supporting their position. They're supporting that they don't want it to break a certain price too.
And you
But
agree
they're
that,
using their own capital then. At
of
that
course,
point. Right.
of course, and because they buying it, they know where it's going.
Right.
That's the most important thing.
Right.
So the question is, for example, would you agree that if, let's say, the chart looks good and a big buyer or a big seller had a plenty of the position, they're not going to let the stock to break because the chart is going to break and they can have a lot of different orders.
A lot of these specialists also were technicians, right? So they knew that if a price action broke a certain point, and they would not want that because probably, technically, then more sellers would come into the market. So a lot of times they would. Again, I'm just.
So you agree?
Yeah, they would probably support it just so to hold price and even buy more than they probably would want to. But if that meant that was at risk of the market too.
For example, there's a big buyer or a big seller needs to accumulate a large position.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, to accumulate the short position is much harder because you have to borrow, and sometime they wouldn't let you borrow. I'm sure. Did you see the serial Billions?
I didn't see it. No.
You didn't see it?
No.
Oh, I'm surprised. It's like where they try to short squeeze you or anything else. So, for example, big buyer or big seller needs to accumulate the large position.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, if the stock is going to stay still, and I trade equities, they're not going to let the stock go up and down because nobody's going to give it to them. If it's going to stay still, nobody's going to sell. So they try basically to make some movement in the stock, a little bit up and down, to create some moves so that people see the stock is moving and that somebody is trying to sell or somebody's trying to buy. Correct?
Right.
So most of the time it's like a channel, right? They accumulate. They gotta accumulate. For example, you are not the specialist.
No.
You just, let's say, for example, you're
I was just day
not
trading.
day trader, and you need to accumulate 1 million shares. And for example, you accumulated 1 million shares, so the stock would trade, let's say, 50 million. 2% of the daily volume, which is okay. And you basically can certainly manipulate with the price, correct?
Not really. I mean, if I had a price in mind, then I knew my limitations, and if I wanted to buy X amount of shares in a security, then I would just limit myself to that number. And
You
that
just
would
was
be it.
average, right? Some buy at 20, some buy at 20, they 10, then go down.
Yeah, I mean, like for example, if when during those time periods, if I thought that there was a price that I wanted to buy a position, I would know that I wanted to buy X amount of shares at this one limit price, and that's it.
Just
And,
like that.
Yeah, I didn't want to really scale in or average down, and that was my price.
So
That was it.
I'm the same. I buy once and big.
That's it.
So is you.
Yeah, whatever the amount it was whatever the amount. Depending, somebody asked me one time, like, you do so many trades in a day. Like, how do you know this was a really great question, actually. They said, how do you know how many shares you want to buy and or sell, or futures or whatever, or foreign exchange, whatever? I said, I don't know. That's a great question. It just comes out of me. I just know. Like, I don't know if I wanted to buy, for example, I don't know if I wanted to buy 50,000. I don't know if I wanted to buy 10,000. I don't know if I wanted to buy 5,000. But whatever I came out with, I just blurted it out. But it was.
It's the compare something to a dollar amount, or it's always different.
No, I never thought about dollar. Never. I never thought about dollar. I never thought about. It was not even looking at the overall market, like, the advanced decline 3-to-1 positive or anything like that. When I had the feel to buy, I just blurted it out. Buy X amount, sell X amount.
But this is not even a feeling; it's just a professionalism over the years.
Yeah, over that
course.
comes with experience. Yeah, that came.
But
with
it's usually somewhere around number about the. I mean, I'm sure it's not a 1 million shares or 100,000 shares. Because the math is going to break.
Yeah, it was always different. I mean, it depending on the security and the price of the security, and also, I really got to tell you, there wasn't many times I knew how I was doing in a day. Like I just had a gut feeling.
You don't look P&L.
No, I just looked at position.
So you never look P&L, just a position.
It was just so rapid what I was doing. I just never really. I don't remember really looking at my overall P&L at times.
We are right now with my partner. I told you developing the artificial intelligence software, so hopefully we're going to work together. You even offered me money. I remember $20 million. You said take 20. Maybe we'll start with less. And we proved from an artificial intelligent point of view that the back test wouldn't give you anything for the future. I mean, in a certain ways, but you cannot really rely for all the time that it's going to be the same.
News events, and there's so much filtering, and then you know what? I just believe in just running it and doing it and seeing real live results.
So you basically more as far as I understand, you're more of a technical guy. So
all technical.
So is that. Yes.
You know, I always tell people this. I don't know why I fell in love with this movie, believe it or not, and it's a movie with Jodie Foster, and it's a movie called Contact. And when they hear this pulse that comes through, and they say, well, why? They obviously it was coming in prime numbers, and I remember one of the actors say that, well, it's a universal language, mathematics. I'm not a big fundamental person at all, and so I think that the more I teach people today, every single day, is what I do, that they really understand that there is a place for technical analysis and understanding it. Divergence patterns. I can see divergence patterns using my predictive analytics. I can see trends. I can see reversals. I can see things based upon mathematics, things happening, right? Not just from a fundamental report that's going to give me some type of a view, right? A view.
Other people view.
Right. It's not going to put food on the table. It's a view, and the view could be either right or the view could be wrong, right? Mathematics is true to the core, right? Because that is always been my view, that price action and the math underneath it all, and the way you write certain algorithms or analytics is going to be true to the core. So, and that's what you want, because if you think of it though, you wake up and the markets are open for six and a half hours, 9:30, unless you trade the futures contract all night, 23 hours in a day, or foreign exchange, which is pretty much 24 hours. But price action is always true, and so if you
chart never lies.
Never lies. It's like how many times do we get X-rays as a kid, or even to this day? Doctor says, "Oh, I could see. Oh, you have a hairline fracture," and it's true, right? So a chart never lies. So whether it's a chart on,
I always say to my students as well, believe what you see, not what you know.
I always say that. My eyes are glued to those charts, my 43 screens all day long, like this. And
How you start? I mean, one day we're gonna go to the office next interview. It's gonna be in your office and connect you. How many screens do you have?
43.
Why 43?
Because I like to trade the same things over and over again, and I have
43
different assets.
But how many monitors?
43 screens.
Each monitor for each
S&Ps, NASDAQ, or ETF,
GBP, whatever.
Gold, pound, dollar, yen, euro. Yeah, for Euro Stocks 50 futures, Bund, Apple, Netflix, Nvidia, Amazon. Yeah, and like this all day.
When do you think it hit you? Like, boom.
Well, that's a great question. When did it hit me? I would think the first week back in 1991 when I traded for Joe, it hit me that I can do this. Yeah, that I can do this. in a very big way. But I was disciplined because I gave it a week, another week. But then it snowballed. I said, I could do this. I could do this. This I love. And don't forget, if I made the $100 by 11:30, I stopped. I didn't keep going to 4.
You're absolutely right. When you tell people, because people are crazy when you say, listen, you had a plan for the day, you made it, you're out. Same as the laws.
No, but I didn't go, I didn't leave.
I always, I'll tell you the story. When I used to work in WorldCom, I was an excellent trader. Just for you to understand. In 4 years, I had 9 losing days. In 4 years. 1,000 trading days, I had 9 losing days. In 4 years. So I remember the day, I think it's 2001, my limit loss was, I think, $5,000 per day. So I lost $5,000. And we had an automatic risk manager, which was excellent. Because, you don't have to worry about yourself, you have a system. System stops you, that's it. I remember my boss told me one thing, I could never control how much you're going to make, but I always going to control how much you're going to lose, because if you lose my money.
Right.
Exactly. So I remember I lost $5,000, and like today, I remember we had a risk manager, Al Guido, Marine, U.S. Marine, big motherfucker, huge fucking guy, with muscles like this. And I said, Al, I just lost $5,000. I mean, I'm up $600,000 for the months. My best months, my best day was $630,000 one day. So I said, I'm up like $600,000 for months. You don't have to worry about it. He told me one thing, he said, Alex, I don't know anything about the market. I'm just a risk manager. Walter told me your risk per day is $5,000. Go back home, it's another day. I said, listen, just open for a little for $300. He said, listen, you got used to take large position. Well, what are you going to do? You're never going to be able to lose $300. If you take position of 3,000 shares, 10 cents, exactly, and you're out. And when you tell this to the people, they don't understand. They think, my boss told me one thing, the worst part, you're going to lose your chance. And that's it. Once and for all.
So that's really a great story, because I knew that opportunity that Joe gave me, that was my only shot. That was my only shot. And I had to be so disciplined that I could not break that mentality. I made that 100, I went to 200, I went to 300. No matter what I did, I stopped.
Where do you see the next 10 years in trading?
Oh, I think we're going to see an explosion. I think you're going to see an explosion. I think the 5 biggest words for the next 10 years is content, predictive analytics, AI, optimization, and education. I think you're going to see an explosion in the futures markets, especially with the micro. I think you're going to see an explosion in the options markets. I think you're going to see an explosion in the forex markets, and then the equity markets as well. So it goes, 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. But I think that more and more people, students, millennials, anyone, really is starting to wants to learn how to trade now. They're not fearful of it.
Right.
They used to be fearful of it. And I tried to morph them into the psychology of, don't be fearful. You could do this. I wasn't born to do this. I went through a process. But if I could speed that process, or you can, to help them become great traders, and give them the technology and the confidence, you can do this, And that's what I instill in people. So, but I think you're going to see an explosion. I think more and more, and kudos to all the different exchanges and like the CME for coming out with a product that gave the average person the ability to trade the micro.
Let's talk about it. Trading mini macro.
I think it's a great product.
And you don't need a lot of money.
It's 1/10 of the contract, and I was talking to a young man yesterday in Arizona. He was doing 10 contracts, 10 or 15 or 10 or 16 contracts. He's buying 2, and it goes with the S&Ps, but it's 1/10 of the price.
Yeah. So it's a S&P about 100,000. This is about $10,000 per contract.
Well, with the micro, today, believe it or not, margin for intraday has got down to $500 a contract, $1,000 for crude. But But the micro was, I think, a way of getting people off simulators. To start saying, hey,
It's a product. Yes, you don't do demo. Here's the cheap chance for you to
right,
start
to
trading.
learn with real money.
Yeah,
That you're going
course.
to test yourself with real money versus
So it's
simulator.
if tick is $12.50, so it's $1.25 per tick, which is not a big deal. Yeah, $5 risk. Yeah,
Right.
it's very good.
I think it's ingenious. I think it's going to be a product that eventually, on any given day, the S&P futures do what 1.8 to 2 million contracts a day. I think the micros will do
Probably
15.
10. Yeah, 10, 15.
I think they'll do 20, 30, 40 million contracts one day.
Let's talk about your product. It's a Ticker Tacker Live and Ticker Tacker platform.
Mm-hmm. So Ticker
When you start to develop?
3 years ago.
Okay.
So it's been a journey, and the idea was we had all these different components, and met a firm that we're partnered up with, and the vision was, well, I'm not a marketer, right? I mean,
Right.
it's not what I do. I'm not a salesperson. I speak from the heart. I speak the truth, but I saw a significant inefficiency in the marketplace, and my partner and I knew we had so many different products, and because they were used for internal, and so basically, we decided to build Ticker Tacker, web-based with a mobile application marketplace platform that brought the top leaders in the country, or hopefully the world soon, as we're getting registered in various different countries, to an audience of novice traders, retail traders, professional retail traders, to give them a marketplace where they can go, talk to people like me, see the different things that I'm doing, whether it's trade ideas. I hold a big live room all day long from 8 to 4, nonstop, 8 hours a day, to people trading FX, people who trade options, people who do verified trades, people who have automated strategies. I have teams of quant teams that just put their signals in or their alerts, and people match up their accounts to the algorithm, and they just buy and sell.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a product that really is significant. We have a patent on where you can build and write strategies without using any lines of code, and you can execute. You can manually trade, or you can auto trade. And then the last chapter is
Like a pattern recognition.
was that
Pattern recognition.
well, they can write their own. They can write whatever they want.
How?
Without you, by building blocks, and then they can optimize it, and then they can automate it or plug it into one of their accounts through one of our APIs that we're affiliated with, our member firms. And then the last part is the education channel. So for me, for example, I'll be doing verified trades. I do trade ideas. I hold a live room all day long, live room, chat room, and I'm educating, I'm teaching, and I can't wait because in the next couple of weeks we'll be putting out Ticker Talker Live, which is a live stream that we're really super excited about, and you can look at things on demand. And during that day, I'm calling out market direction, trades and futures, equities, ETFs, foreign exchange, commodities. And with my little finger, I have the ability to press different buttons. I have 2 producers behind me, and it's a real show with a whole menu of events, and not just people talking. It's real trading, teaching. So if I see something in the S&Ps, I press a button, the E-minis come up, and I can show it why I called this, why this is happening, and people are seeing it. Even if I think something's going to happen before it happens, I'll say, hey, if the S&Ps take out 2835 here, we're going up. And if the 30-minute takes this number out, and the hourly, we're going up, and we're buying every pullback from now until the close, right? So it's really something I'm really looking forward to, because it's nothing. I literally, I have to tell you, like, I feel like somebody once said to me, like, what's the worst part of your day? I said, leaving my office. I just love it that much.
You're a junk in a good way.
Yeah, like I live in my cocoon. It's my cocoon. Matter of fact, I think it was 1997 or 1998, a company wanted to do a story on me, and they said, what's the hardest part of your day? I said, getting in my car and leaving. They said, why are you being like that? I said, my friend who's he says, no, he's being truthful. He falls asleep behind the wheel of the car, and I have to watch him. So every car I had a sunroof because I would make the wind always blow on my face. And then
Not to sleep.
yeah, and then they said, "Can I ask one more question?" This is your last question. He says, "What's the easiest part of this?" I said, "Trading. I love it. I loved it that much. I mean, literally. I mean, like, I don't know. And I'm the passion, and I spread to others. You know,
That's very
there's
nice. I'm
many
interested.
me's out there.
I'm interested myself, to learn from the person like you, to see what do you do. Because the beautiful part is we have lots of in common of understanding the market. You understand? I just need those extra 16 years of experience
No problem,
from you.
my friend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
A few questions like advice from the people they just begin. First of all, the good part is right under our interview. Basically, it's going to be Mark. It's going to be ticket talker, and so people are going to be able to come and see.
Sure, thank you.
Especially, we're not going to talk about the price, but the price is
Whatever.
very affordable. It's very affordable.
So my live stream is $20 a month, less than $1 a day, and
You can even buy coffee.
My Ticket Talker platform, you come on. Everything's a week or a 2-week free trial, and then on Ticket Talker, you come on for 2 weeks for free.
Amazing.
And if you get my live room for free, which is less than $4 a day, and then you can have access to the whole platform.
It's amazing. You
I
cannot.
wanted to make it where, people would say, well, why are you doing this like that? Like,
It's definitely not money.
it's the love, and because we feel we're going to get a platform that is going to be a household name. So I'm not a broker dealer. I don't look at commissions. Right, and so basically what we're doing is we're a research technology company. So that to me is like,
It's new step.
next up. Yeah. So Ticker Talker Live, I'm really super excited. I have 2 great producers, a great team, a great production, and I think this is gonna be a disruptor. This is real off the charts.
What would you suggest from the people, for the people who is just the beginners?
Take a,
Like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Take a deep breath. If you want to learn, Rome wasn't built in a day. That's my favorite saying. Learn. If you want someone like me, I'm more than happy to. Just constant ask questions, learn, try on a simulator before you put real money up, and just constantly watch and learn. This brings me up, when I was growing up, we really didn't have any money or anything like that, and I loved the game of baseball so much. And I had a 13-inch black and white television, and I loved baseball. Like, I could watch it 20 hours a day. And the team back then was the Cincinnati Reds, the big red machine. Johnny Bench, Tony Perez, Willie Joe Morgan, and Dave Concepcion, and George Foster, and you name it. What a team. And I was just glued to this television, as close as my nose can be. And I didn't have money for a baseball coach. I didn't have money for anything. I had to even borrow a bat when I used to get into the batter's box. And I would watch on TV every time their hands or every time their foot.
Oh, they move.
Right. I analyzed every movement. And I think that if anybody's coming into the game now, I think that taking someone who can mentor them, right? Like you, me, and whoever they want, right? To learn and give them the technology, to teach them. And I'll tell you, I know some very big guys in the industry. I talk to them the same way as I talk. There's no difference to me. I talk to a kid from St. John's the same way as I talk to a guy who's a billionaire or who's ever. It doesn't make a difference to me, right? But for a novice person who's just starting out, don't rush it. Learn. Take a step back. 1 step forward, don't take 2 steps back. 1 step forward, keep taking that step.
Even slow, but take.
Right. It's a journey, not a sprint. And that would be my advice to them. And learn, because it will come. People who have doubted me have said to me, when I first talked to you, I didn't know, but you were right. It's a journey, right? So take the journey. Learn with the journey. Now, you may not be able to do this 8 hours a day, but you could just time in a day to take a half hour here, an hour here. It's up to the individual. How bad do you want it, right? I wanted it bad, right? Like, I still want it bad. Like, people say, like, you haven't lost your vigor, like,
Appetite.
your appetite. I said, I'm like a lion in the Serengeti who hasn't eaten in a month. Are you kidding me? I'm ferocious, you know? So I just tell people, I'll get young kids, Mr. Kalaujian, you know, I'm just starting out, I got $500. I'm like, good, save the $500. Let's learn. Don't do anything.
First, that's right.
Right, learn. Let me teach you, right? Let me teach you. And then you go to a simulator, and then you practice on that. Make sure you learn how
And
to
then
use.
you start with something like a trading mini micro, you know, small ones.
Right. You know, watch my patterns. Watch the live stream. Watch when I populate a chart or something, because you can't be sitting in front of a desktop all day long. Why? That's why I created Ticker Talker Live, so people can see all day long the things that I'm saying, and I'm popping charts up, and I'm drawing, and I'm explaining where I think the move is going to be, or why this move I think is going to happen, based upon analytics that are about to, happen. So I think that I would just tell anybody, it's a journey. Take it slow. Rome wasn't built in a day, and never, again, going back to the person who taught me, no question is ever stupid. Just keep asking.
I'll ask you right now, idiotic question.
No.
It's an idiotic question, because a lot of time people asking this question, but there is no answer. So it's going to be idiotic because, everybody knows the answer, but nobody can do it. I mean, the statistics, unfortunately, is very bad. And 95% of the people, they're losing money in the market. And they're losing money in the market for one simple reason, because of the lack of the discipline. They just don't have a discipline. So the stupid question, idiotic question is, what do you think? Is there anything or any way that the normal human being, which has a lack of discipline, can train it in any possible way? Or did you see anyone in your career which the people who were not disciplined become one? And what would it take?
So that's a really great question. I mean, being in the industry for 36 years like I've been, if you think I haven't seen it all, you're kidding me, right? I mean, I've seen it all. I've seen guys who are like wild Broncos in Wyoming that have zero discipline, gunslingers. I'm like,
a lot of
whoa.
things is going to be very hard to translate in Russian,
Oh, really?
No.
Okay.
No, it's good. It's good.
Okay.
I'm just kidding, but it's a very nice slang. I like it.
Yeah. But you know what? The thing is that I'll say to them very quickly, it's my way or the highway. You want to learn? I'm going to break you. You want to learn? I'm going to teach you. Right? You start going off a different path, I'm the wrong guy for you.
My way or a highway.
That's it.
I'm sure you're the same with your kids.
Oh my God.
I can see it.
Oh my God, yes.
You're a tough motherfucker.
My daughter is, yes. I mean, my daughter's playing Division I soccer, and my son is a pitcher at a community college, and hopefully, God willing, his dream is to play Division I baseball as a pitcher. So they have the same work ethic, and they learn, and I say this is the big, this is every day you got to better your life.
But you don't give them a break.
No.
I figured that. Listen, to say thank you for the interview, it's not to say anything. It's honestly, I just had like a portion of my favorite drug, which is chocolate. The beautiful part is that, I definitely gonna look to the Ticker Talker myself, once per reason. It's an exceptional idea. Second thing, it's a great step for the people, who try it, because we have a lot of audience from all the different countries,
Sure.
And lots of people, they look for somebody like you and like me. I'm a little different. You have a much more experience, longer, and everything else. But what you offer is very nice. So, me myself, I'm interested just to look at it, because it's like to watch your favorite movies. That's what it is: trading, charts,
Right.
and everything else. And you're participating. You know what they're saying in the industry. Watching the stock is like watching a porno. If you're not participating, it's no fun. So when you're in the Ticker Talker room, you can really participate in that.
Yeah, we're Ticker Talker Live, and we're gonna have segments where people from all around the world will ask questions, or I'm gonna probably do that a couple of times a day. Blocks of 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna start taking questions now from everybody. you do get questions all day long, and my guys do the best they can, but pick really good questions and this is a real live production.
You can come to the Ticker Tucker Life or Ticker Tucker platform, really explode, such a great person like Stephen, and the most important thing, learn from it. That's the most important thing, because you should understand one thing: the money will not buy you happiness, but the money will buy you the education. And especially with the prices like Stephen mentioned, it's less than $1 a day. It really is. So enjoy it. Watch our interview. The most important thing, Ticker Tucker is there for you. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother.